right, welcome to Three Lame Guides. I'm Mr. Cack, that's TJ, and joining us, which is usually my brother Jared, he's been taken! It's the Brother Taker, by God! So the Brother Taker has taken the spot of my brother, which seems very apt in that he was gimmicked correctly. Brother Taker, do you have anything to say? Oh yeah, I'm just gonna talk in stereotypical wrestlers from the 80s voices that sound vaguely like Macho Man. You know the Macho Man voice. Everyone can do the ooh yeah, now I'm talking like this. The best thing though is when he gets like kind of like insanely calm with it. Like there's a voice he does, which is like the steadier kind of more serious thing before he gets back into the crazy. And it's just like that.
When he brings it up here, and then he comes down really low.
Yeah.
When he sits there and he talks to you like this, let me tell you something, brother. What I'm gonna do is, ooh yeah, yeah.
Like you could feel his blood pressure spiking.
Yeah. It's hard to do that voice for a prolonged amount of time. Like, I don't see how he did it, like, as long as he did. Because he was always in character. He was always a Macho Man.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's cocaine.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's cocaine. But R.I.P., he was one of my favorite wrestlers. Always loved him. Because he had a finishing move that was easy, if not still dangerous, to replicate. Anyways, we're three lame guys. It's technically two lame guys and a cardboard cutout for our third. But hey, I warned you in advance sometimes that 2, 3, 1, we're always three lame guys, whether it's just two or one of us. But we're going to talk about an upcoming thing that's happening, SummerSlam 2024 with the WWE. TJ and I are very big wrestling fans. So is my brother, but he is taken. So Brother Taker is here, who's also a big wrestling fan. If you can guess who Brother Taker is behind his outfit, you win a prize. What's that prize? I don't know. Self-satisfaction. TJ, we have a card. We're going to discuss it. So we're basically reacting to the card itself, how we feel about the card, and then let's give some predictions about where we think that card's going to go.
All right.
So we are set up going into, we have 7 matches on the card. TJ, you can start off by going through them one at a time, and then we can talk about them as you bring them up. But seven matches currently listed. It is going to be taking place in Cleveland at the home of the Cleveland Browns, which is, I don't know, I don't care. The Cleveland Browns are a football team. So I'm just going to read it off. There is no way... there's no way that this is the order, but I wouldn't be surprised. But here's how the card is laid out on Wikipedia. Match number 1, Damian Priest, the champion, the world heavyweight champion, versus Gunther, the King General.
Yeah, it's gotten better. Like, the build-up to this card, to this match has gotten better. Better than what I thought it was going to be. Hopefully there's not as much issues as there was in his last title defenses.
Where he didn't kick out?
Well, he didn't kick out on the one, and then like he tried to do the rope move, like jump over the rope.
Oh yeah, and almost got separated his leg from his body.
So hopefully it's a lot better, but I think it's going to be a pretty good match. They've done a good job building up to it, better than what I thought they would. So.
Ideally, do you want to see a Judgment Day betrayal here, or would you rather see that fallout happen Monday night on Sci-Fi with Raw?
So I don't think it would happen here. And then again, I didn't watch any of Raw last week, so I don't know if there was something that was going to build up to like a fallout.
Yeah.
Was there?
So there's been the chirping where it seems like Finn Balor is getting on, where Finn Balor's probably had the last like straw with Damian kind of broken, where you can kind of tell that he's a little bit more agitated with how Damian talks about the group. But Rhea came in and kind of made it feel like everyone's unified, which is the biggest red flag that this is about to explode in fiery hellfire. But Balor went upon himself to challenge Gunther. He was going to fight Gunther that night. He wants to win, but his reality was that he was just softening up Gunther before Gunther and Damian meet this upcoming weekend. With that,
Oh no,
I don't think there was anything. I don't think there was anything outright, but I mean, the weeks leading up to the previous Premium Live event, you know, you had Damian Priest telling Seth Rollins that he doesn't need them, they need him. You know, he's kind of, you know, I've had it up to here. And, you know, the thing about the Judgment Day is before here recently, before Rhea disappeared, the conversation point was there is no leader.
Yeah.
And I think now you've seen enough built in to show that Damian has been treating himself like the leader, that the eventual betrayal, I mean, it's marked on the wall. It's going to happen. And I think it's Finn Balor that leads the charge of that. It makes a lot of sense thematically, too, since he's the one that led the betrayal of Edge. So, like, why not? Why not have him do it again?
Yeah.
I know it's not going to happen. And to just backtrack to the original question, I too would hope that this would be something that waits. Like, I don't want to see Damian Priest get cost or shenanigan into another win. I'd rather him lose and then Finn Balor turn on him on Monday and being like, I guess you did need us, and then that leading to the big blowout between what's going to happen with Judgment Day. There's a match later in the card where I hope there is some Judgment Day shenanigans.
But my prediction is that Gunther will win the belt. Because Damian Priest, I think, has become a face here lately, and I think heel champions are the better champions, because it's always nice having someone who's, you know, the heel getting up there trashing everybody, and then you have to build up that character to be the one to defeat him. That's why Roman Reigns worked so well for so long. It's because he was a heel. Even though a lot of people still liked him, he was still technically a heel. Did heel things, you know, to win. And then you build up Cody Rhodes for 2 years. So.
No. I think, I don't know. I don't even know if I just don't want Judgment Day to appear at all. Because I get it. Because he is the babyface. But I would like it if we got it's not even a big swerve, just a small swerve of they don't interfere. So that way then the blow up fuse point is, you know, him showing up on Monday and being like, well, I guess you did need us. And that, you know, upsetting Damian, who, you know, is being booked more face-ish. Yeah. And so is Rhea. So we know that these two can't remain with the current iteration of Judgment Day because that's not how the face-heel game works. Yeah, well, there's already people complaining, so we'll get back to the card, but let's address some things that people are saying online right now. I saw it, and I firmly believe there are people for both sides, for both WWE and for both AEW, but since I'm currently an AEW hater, deal with it. I've seen a lot of the same commenters popping up with almost the exact same quote. Well, y'all complain about AEW having long pay-per-views, and then they show a graphic that shows that someone went on their Peacock app and it's saying that SummerSlam is listed as 8 hours. The reality is that it'll start 3 hours, a 3 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour pre-show, which is an excessively long pre-show. And yes, they're probably doing it to eat into, just to be dicks to the AEW Collision crowd. But if you're a AEW fan and your biggest thing is they're counter-programming against us with a pre-show, your show's dead anyways. Like, no one watches pre-shows. No one watches it. But the actual event itself, there's no way the actual SummerSlam is going to be 5 hours. There's been talk that Triple H wants Jelly Roll, who is the artist that's performing the theme song. He's probably going to come in and sing a song. They're probably going to have an artist come in and sing. I hope to all that's good and holy that happens on the pre-show, so I don't have to watch it. But if it happens on the main card, okay, so be it. I'll deal with it. I don't want to watch it, but I'll sit through it.
I don't anticipate SummerSlam going past 9:30 p.m. Central Time.
I don't either. Nope.
Like, it'll start probably around 6 o'clock, which means pre-show with the actual sit there and talk about the matches. You'll have that at start about 5. And then 5 to 6, SummerSlam starts at 6, goes to about 9:30. But like any time before that, it's going to be just recaps and what is it they have going on today? The SummerSlam kickoff show or something. Yeah, it's there's no way that it's going to be an 8-hour pay-per-view. It's not going to go past 9:30.
No, they've already have kind of hinted at some of the stuff they're gonna do. They're throwing in a CM Punk interview with Michael Cole. They're gonna do things like that, things that make SummerSlam feel like a big deal, because that is what their goal is that SummerSlam is one of their bigger events. It's the biggest party of the summer. It's one of what people would stereotypically think of as one of their 4 big events between Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, SummerSlam, and Survivor Series.
Yep.
So, yeah, treat it like a big deal, because in your mind, you want it to be a big deal. So that way, when you start approaching these venues in the future, Indianapolis, Minnesota.
Well, if you say Indianapolis, they're doing like 3 or 4 pay-per-views there next year or something.
Yeah, but I mean, how you make it a thing is you talk about how you're making the whole weekend into an event.
Yeah.
We'll have SmackDown Friday in the town. We'll do Monday Night Raw in the town. We'll have this event. We'll have an NXT Premium Live event.
Yep.
We'll have this fan visitor section. Jerry Lee Roll will appear and sing. Logan Paul will talk about trans folks. Like all these things that you can have in all of its goodness will be there. We'll skip talking about that one. We'll go back to the card. Next up, listed on the Wikipedia page, is by far probably going to be the dud match of the night, unfortunately, and that's Bayley, the champion, who is the WWE Women's Champion, versus Nia Jax, who is the Queen of the Ring. And now they've changed the format to where King and Queen of the Ring get a title shot at SummerSlam. I like that change. Yep. I don't care for this match.
I don't either. The only thing that's making me care for this match is the fact that Tiffany Stratton has the Money in the Bank briefcase. She's aligned herself with Nia Jax, so I can definitely see a Money in the Bank cash in at the conclusion of this match. Like, I can see Nia Jax winning, Tiffany cashes in, hits her with the briefcase that she probably was gifted today. She'll probably be gifted tonight on SmackDown, right?
Oh, yeah.
Hits her with this gifted briefcase, and it starts a feud there. That's the only way I'm excited about this match. In no other way. Because
who did you say she would hit with the briefcase?
Nia Jax.
Yes. Okay. Yes. That is beautiful storytelling.
Yeah.
And I would be firmly in the corner of seeing that.
Like Nia Jax tonight gives her the briefcase, this new,
I would love that
briefcase, and then she's like, great. And then Tiffany Stratton comes out after Nia Jax beats Bayley.
Yep.
Gets blindsided, hit with the briefcase, cashes in, wins the belt. That'd be the best. Like
that's gold.
Yeah, you don't want to keep like let her keep that briefcase like for a year like they did with Damian Priest.
Because you can't do that every year, and it seems like they do that every year.
Yeah.
So go ahead and burn up your 2 Money in the Bank briefcase right now. I'm not even upset that Drew lost his, like, I don't want to go back and discuss that, but a lot of people were upset. They wasted it. They could have gave it. Whoever they gave it to wasn't going to win. Like, exactly. I don't know what else to tell you. The WrestleMania title defenses are pretty much set in stone, and they could have in theory put it on someone else if they didn't want to hold it going into WrestleMania, but that just means that person's going to hold it for maybe an inconsequential program, and then they give it right back. Save it. Let me see actual matches that are building towards what they want.
We don't want another Otis situation.
Yeah.
Right? We don't want someone like getting the briefcase and then have no intention of ever giving them the title shot. So you put it up against someone else and lose the briefcase in a match, and someone else gets the title shot, kind of thing.
Or they use it to go after the United States title or the Intercontinental title or
like the NXT title.
NXT title, yes, I know, yes. I thought, Becky elevated, I guess, but ugh. Next up, we have a match that won't be crappy, at least from a storyline perspective. I don't know how it's going to look in the ring, but we get to see the return of Mommy. It's Liv Morgan, the champion, who's Women's World Championship, versus Rhea Ripley in a singles match.
So
I believe there's tomfoolery.
I believe there's tomfoolery here. This is the match that I can definitely see there being. I can see Mommy, Rhea Ripley is such a face right now. I can see Dominic Mysterio turning on her and becoming even more of a heel.
Yep.
In this, costing her the match. And that's what I think is going to end up happening.
Oh man, you can just imagine the fan backlash that would happen.
Yeah.
Oh, it would be great. If they don't do it, one, they're cowards.
Yeah.
Two, they're stupid. Like, why wouldn't you? Why would you have a chance to make this guy who already has immense heat? But I would say that, you know, people still boo him, but I think they've kind of eased up a little bit. I think the boos have. This would put nuclear heat on him instantly.
Oh yeah, it'd be perfect too, because it's like you have like two mega heels at this point. You know.
He and just his whole look is such a dirty rat bastard look.
It is.
Which is very. I mean, he's basically a dime store knockoff of what Eddie Guerrero looked at like in the later points of his career, where he's rocking the very Latino heat mullet. Like he's doing all that stuff, but it's Dominic, so it just doesn't look as good.
Yeah.
And he's got that ratty little crumb mustache. Like it's everything Dominic's doing is amazing in terms of being someone that you actively, visibly, and physically despise.
Oh yeah.
So I do hope that he costs Rhea, because it's going to be insane when it happens.
That would set up the part of the crumbling of the Judgment Day storyline that you can start there, and then, you know, kind of continue on with you know, Damian Priest eventually.
Well, you know, Carlito's gonna side with Liv Morgan if Dominic tries to bring her in, because she gave him a PlayStation 5 and he would like it back.
Yeah.
Is Carlito one of the best? Has Carlito reached our truth levels of kind of funny background character? Because he's been on point here. He shows up like 5 seconds every Monday Night Raw, but it's usually a pretty good 5 seconds.
I'd give him that. You know, it's like I don't see them really doing anything much more beyond comedy at this point. You know, I mean, but I mean, if you put him in a tag team with Dominic, and, you know, him, Dominic, and Liv Morgan starting a little faction or whatever, and you put him in.
Well, Carlito's big enough, like body wise, that if he's capable to still go, like I think he might have been injured at one point, so if he's medically cleared to go, that dude could be a real good heater for such a little shit in Dominic Mysterio. And sometimes that's all you need for your heel, is a big heater to kind of, you know, be the muscle for him, a la Diesel and HBK.
Yeah.
And just, you know, let him take the whoopings and give the whoopings, and then Dominic just be an annoying turd. R-Truth, I hope he shows up at some point, because Miz is hosting. We'll do a little segue before we get to the rest of the card. Miz is hosting SummerSlam, which he is from Cleveland. I did appreciate, I don't know if you saw on Sci-Fi for Raw this past Monday, but R-Truth comes out and says, one, he goes, WWE's bringing back In Your House. That's great. because the Miz said he would be the host since it's in his hometown. He goes, it's in my home. He goes, they're bringing back In Your House. And then
that with NXT, which is.
And then I do wish they would start branding stuff as In Your House more.
Yeah.
And then he made the comment, well, if you're hosting, are you going to have snacks? Or he goes, I'll help bring the snacks. Like, and the Miz is like, there won't be snacks. It's not that kind of hosting. And he's like, you're being a bad host. R-Truth is
a national treasure. Yes.
A national treasure. He's ageless and he's funny. And, you know, yes, sometimes his jokes borderline dad joke, if not worse quality. But he's having fun. Like, you can't, and it's not in a racial kind of way like it mostly was with Vince McMahon's tenure. So, hey, I'll do it. And he's not seeing little Jimmy, so you gotta take the good with the bad sometimes.
Yep.
Ooh, match number 4 is Cody Rhodes versus Solo Sikoa. That one has to be. I feel like we'll talk about card placement. Let's just talk about the match itself. Cody Rhodes is the champion. He's the undisputed WWE champion. I don't know why they still keep calling it the undisputed WWE championship and not just WWE championship, but it's undisputed WWE championship. Cody Rhodes versus Solo Sikoa. What do you think's gonna happen here, TJ?
Oh gosh, you know, this is one of those, like, I can see them. Honestly, I don't see them putting the belt on Solo Sikoa this early in his career. And the reason is still think you got a lot going on with, trying to set up the whole Cody and Randy Orton thing, which I think would be a great match. And there's so many other people. I think this is one where I honestly think this is gonna headline. And the reason I think this is gonna headline is because I think at some point in the match, towards the end, Paul Heyman and Roman Reigns will come out, distracting Solo, causing Cody to get the win to set up the Bloodline blood feud.
I mean, you can already, in your mind's eye, you can already start to visualize the camera angle, which would be cameraman back to the Titantron, facing into the ring. Maybe it's a pin attempt or something, and Cody kicks out, and all of a sudden you hear Roman's like that choir kind of thing, and like you see the screen color change, and it just like it's showing Solo's face and him getting surprised or whatever, and then all of us, like, the place would lose it.
Oh yeah,
the place would go insane.
But
that's
also,
why
I think Jimmy Uso is like medically cleared too, so I think you can bring him out with Roman as well, and really kind of set up the whole Bloodline match, because I think there is going to be interference from the rest of them. I think that interference is going to be stopped or hindered by Randy Orton, Kevin Owens. I think those are good. There's going to be, Cody's going to have some backup in this, but I think the big thing is, I think that I really do hope that Roman Reigns comes back with Paul Heyman, with Jimmy Uso, and really kind of sets up this feud that's going to conclude at War Games.
It would be it almost sounds like, why would you do anything different?
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I agree. I think that has to be the main event, because I do think someone, and if it's not Roman Reigns, then Zilla Fatu has already started making some subtle hints that he is WWE bound and may be showing up in Cleveland. He may show up tonight, honestly.
You know what? And that's the thing too, is Roman could bring him out too.
Yeah, he could be aligning with
Roman,
with the other.
Yeah.
Who knows where all these Samoans may be going?
If you're trying to keep brands separate and you don't want to bring in, Jey Uso.
Which he said he's done with it. He's done with that. He's done with the bloodline stuff. I could respect him. People would question the story if he wasn't involved, but hey, he said he's done with it. Let him be done with it. And I don't know if I want to see, as much as I love Jey Uso, he's a hot tag kind of guy. So maybe I would rather see him in that. Some of his single matches have been kind of.
They can do something kind of like what they did with Randy Orton last year, where he wasn't in the lineup with the rest of his team, but then like, oh well, who's it going to be? Who's going to come out? And then Randy Orton's music hits. Last year's, they could do something like that with Jey, and to where it's like, they ask Jey, Jey's like, I don't want anything to do with that, and
yeah. So now that I'm thinking about it, Jey has to be someone that Jimmy and Roman and Paul have to work towards to bring back. Yeah. Jey just can't show up.
Exactly.
Because they whooped his ass and they kicked him out and all this other stuff, and he had like all this big turmoil that, yes, you could do the whole, well, it's family, and you could Vin Diesel the story if you want, but I think if you want it to be a better story, it has to be something where they try to get Jey to join their side, and Jey is dismissive to reluctant to then maybe goes, or is dismissive, reluctant, and then brings in another Fatu to take his place. Like, if I can't be there, at least family will be there, and then he just pieces out. But yeah, no, I think it has to be a longer play. It can't just be he just shows up and is part of the group. Exactly. It would get a good pop, but storyline-wise, it'd be kind of meh.
Yeah.
Next up, we have Logan Paul, who is the United States champion, versus L.A. Knight. Yeah.
So, how do you not have LA Knight win?
Well, with recent turmoil, I feel like a lot of people think he's gonna win.
I mean, I get that, like I think Logan Paul's from Cleveland, right? Yeah. But you gotta let Logan Paul win this. I mean, I don't. Other than that, like this match really doesn't mean a whole lot to me. So
yeah,
I can just. I mean, it'll be good. It'll be entertaining, but at the same time, like, how long do you really want to keep that storyline going?
Yeah.
And plus, I think if you take the title off Logan Paul, you can do some other stuff with him.
Yeah, Logan Paul is, and it's almost sacrilegious to say this, but there's no other way to frame it without it, being like, I mean, it's just the truth of the matter.
Yeah.
Logan Paul is kind of one of those spectacle wrestlers, right?
Yeah.
He doesn't need a title. Brock Lesnar doesn't need a title. There are certain wrestlers who don't need it. Themselves have enough, as the kids say, aura, to just go out there and people want to watch. People want to watch to see what he can do because he's gifted athletically. People want to watch to see what he does because they want to see him get his ass whooped because they hate him because of his wrestling persona, because of his non-wrestling persona, because he was a YouTuber, because all these other things. Like there are countless people want to see him succeed because he's a YouTuber. Like there's all these things that intertwine that make him stand out differently than most of the mid-card wrestlers. He's someone that could be mid-card, but you could easily elevate him. I mean, you saw it with him going against Roman in Riyadh.
Yeah.
There was no real build-up there other than he said he wanted it, and then he went out there and had a really good match, and people were like, well, he's probably going to win a title at some point. It seems pretty much in the stars. But yeah, take him off the mid-card title, start to give him some main event pushes. But again, he could be someone that goes after celebrities. Like he's done enough in such a little time that it's almost like you could do anything with him. He has it. Now, there are going to be some people, if he loses, that are going to frame the narrative that WWE is kowtowing to the wokeness. And that's because Logan Paul has made comments here recently concerning a situation with the Olympics. And again, we're not going to get into that because neither here nor there in terms of talking about the card itself. It, though, will be interesting to see what the online feedback is. Because there were reports flying out yesterday that he has heat backstage because of his tweets. So who knows? We're in a day and age where everyone says something and then all of the first comments are sources equal trust me, bro. So it's just like no one has any credible sources. It's just they've heard from a reliable source. Okay, well, who's your reliable source? It doesn't matter. But there may potentially be heat on him, which Pat McAfee has also said something not as direct as Logan Paul, but has touched on the same topic as well. So if there's heat on Logan, it'd be interesting to see if there's heat on Pat, but Pat may also be gone from the company here in about a month to go back to college football, so who knows what's happening. But next match on the card is I think LA Knight. I want to see LA Knight win it. LA Knight needs this title more than Logan Paul needs this title.
Exactly.
LA Knight, I know he's won matches, but all I can think about are that awful Mountain Dew midnight match with Bray Wyatt.
Yeah.
And a bunch of losses. Like just coming up short every other time. He's got to win this. We got to move along. We got to show that we can't keep calling him the megastar and expecting people to believe it if he loses in big situations. Yeah, right?
Exactly. Yeah, you got to put a belt on him at some point.
And it's the United States title. For the love of God, just let him have it. Yeah. Next up, we have Sami Zayn, who is the WWE Intercontinental Champion, versus Bron Breakker.
Man, at this point, I kind of want it just Bron Breakker to get the Intercontinental title and just run roughshod over the mid-card. Mm-hmm. Because imagine that. It'll set up... You can eventually set up a Bron Breakker versus Gunther match, which that's going to be awesome. That's going to be a hard-hitting match. But, I mean, really, with Sami Zayn, where do you go from there with the Intercontinental belt? And if Gunther wins, Sami Zayn can then go on to be like, hey, I beat you at WrestleMania. I could beat you for that belt.
Yeah. Yeah, you could easily have a manufactured Gunther program without a whole lot of work.
Exactly.
Now that I'm thinking about it, I would not be opposed, and I actually would favor this more than anything. I would like for this match to be one of those under 20 seconds match. Like, you've got kind of the build-up of, like like Sami Zayn getting called out for, he's going on to be... So that was Braun's big kind of stand against Sami on Monday Night Raw's little promo thing. It's, he's off already figuring out what his life after wrestling looks like because he has all those promoted Sami Zayn and Friend comedy shows here recently. He's like, he's already got it figured out. Like, wrestling's not long for him. I'm just getting started. And I think it's almost like where maybe Clubber Lang should have beat Rocky. It almost feels like Braun Breaker should beat the piss out of Sami Zayn, like crush him, spear him, have a very quick dominating win, and then do what you said. Let him run roughshod through the mid card through that. Does it take some shine off Sami? Sure, but Sami's also like the lovable punching bag. Yeah. Like, it wouldn't be the first time we've seen him absolutely crushed. And if you want to save face, Sami almost feels like save face proof. Like, he gets so obliterated sometimes and then comes right back and has a hot feud again, and people are cheering. People root for him regardless.
Exactly.
So he's like an elevated... God, he's like an elevated Brooklyn Brawler. Like, no one wanted to see the Brooklyn Brawler, but people want to see Sami Zayn. It doesn't matter how many times he loses, people will chant for him, especially at these big PLEs where it's not just your normal mundane crowd. It's the smart marks, the smarks. But yeah, I would like to see Braun Breaker just break him in half. Like, it just be so one-sided. Brock Lesnar destroying John Cena. I would like something like that because you want Braun Breaker to look massive.
Yeah. I mean, the only other thing I can see happening, and it just seems like there'd be a lot of outside interference on these matches for the pay-per-view, is if they have Ilya Dragunov. But see, that's the thing, is you've already set up the storyline with Ilya Dragunov and Braun Breaker. You set that back up in NXT.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you have plenty to go from with Braun Breaker winning the belt, but where do you go with Sami keeping it at this point? Because, we've talked about it in the past. Sami makes, he's a better chaser than he is anything else.
Yeah.
Like, it's better chasing the belt.
He's an underdog.
Yeah. So when he finally does get that big win, it's, amazing. It's epic. It's awesome. It was great at WrestleMania when he finally got, the win over Gunther. I still think it should have been Chad Gable, but
yeah,
we wouldn't be where we are now if Chad Gable did.
And honestly, they probably should have had Braun Breaker beat Sami Zayn the first match they had, and let this be a Sami chasing type scenario. Not to say that he wins here, but I think that you could have built a better story with Sami as the chaser and Braun as the cocky, arrogant champion.
Yeah.
But maybe we have too many cocky, arrogant champions.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. And plus, you want some heel champions. Braun Breaker, people love him, but he is a heel. I mean, let's face it, he is a heel. But
people love barking, though. People love barking.
So, I mean, of course, there's no actual real heels and faces anymore. It's, the fans are going to decide who they like. But,
yeah,
it's like it's just running through the mid card. Like, everybody comes and challenges him. He can defend that belt every Monday night. Do, open challenge thing, basically like what was his name? Ryback feed me more kind of gimmick where he just goes out there on Monday Night Raw. He says, this belt is on the line. Someone come down and try to take it from me. And, just goes through and just beats everybody. And that way you can build up that one person who's going to finally beat him at WrestleMania or somewhere else.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think he needs to look really strong in this, and I I just don't know if a 20-minute back and forth match is what they need for this program.
Yeah.
I think because Sami won the first one, you should feel confident in letting Bron take this one easily. Like, hey, if you want to protect Sami,
Yeah.
let Bron beat the crap out of Sami tonight on SmackDown to soften him up, so that way it doesn't look as bad that he lost, because Bron's been kicking his ass every week.
Well,
Bron has been kicking his ass.
Yeah.
Every week.
And that's also the thing too, is they kind of dropped the ball whenever they brought Braun Breaker up from NXT, is because he was first supposed to sign with like SmackDown or whatever, and didn't really have any matches on SmackDown, and then gets drafted to Raw, and they don't do anything with him for like a month.
Yeah.
So I think this would be a good kind of thing. It's like he gets out there, just
Oh yeah, they're Raw guys. So.
yeah, just spears them.
Yeah.
Wins the belt.
Just no nonsense.
In like
just
2
comes
minutes,
out
in like 2 minutes, 2 minutes max of a match. Just no nonsense. Comes out, just beats his ass, wins the belt, and then, there you go. Sami can go on to do other things. He can go on to challenge Gunther. He can, whatever he wants. Whatever they want him to do. Yeah.
Well, from no nonsense to complete nonsense, the last match written on the card is CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre, a singles match with Seth freaking Rollins as the special guest referee. Yeah. Sadly, the biggest thing I'm curious about is if CM Punk can actually wrestle.
So I'm not curious about that. I'm more curious about, well, not really curious. Fun fact, CM Punk's been in WWE for the past year and has only had 2 matches.
Yep.
This one, and well, of course people are going to say, well, he had some untelevised house show matches with
that's what Dave Meltzer said. I can't believe that Michael Cole said that he hasn't had matches. He's had 3 matches. They have been untelevised. Yeah. No one cares.
But this is first,
There's a difference between wrestling Dominic Mysterio in a live show as a tune-up match and Drew. I am like 6'7", 300 pounds of pure Greek god Scottish muscle. Like, even if he's doing all he can to protect Punk, I don't see how he doesn't hurt Punk just from being himself.
Yeah. So here's what I think's gonna happen. And I think they set it up whenever Seth Rollins and CM Punk got face to face after CM Punk cost. It was Money in the Bank, where Drew cashes in, turns it into a triple threat, and then CM Punk comes in and beats up Drew, causing him to lose, causing Seth Rollins to lose.
Yep.
I think what you do is, Seth Rollins, you got to have him turn on CM Punk, right? You got to have him in the match, turn on CM Punk, basically say, because, something like, I told you actions have consequences. Yeah. Just repeating what CM Punk said, they've already set that up. And, it would turn, because people love CM Punk. He's not going to turn heel. It would keep CM Punk face. It would turn Seth Rollins heel for their matchup.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to extend out like this feud with Drew McIntyre. So you have Drew McIntyre come in, beat him. That's the end of it. Then you have now CM Punk and Seth Rollins set up.
What is not to say that I disagree, but now that I think about it, what does Drew do next if he beats Punk?
He goes after Gunther. He wants that world title.
Okay.
But then again, Punk said that, hey, as long as I'm here, you're never going to win that belt, kind of thing. So it's like they've set up a feud that can almost never end.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
yeah,
at the same time,
seem that way.
But at the same time, you're also setting up another feud with Seth Rollins and CM Punk. You know, so it's going to be interesting how they plan this and how it's played and how they do it.
Well,
Because at the same time, you want CM Punk to win because it's his first actual real singles match back, you know, televised.
Yeah. So they've done in the past, I forget which match it was, but it was 2 wrestlers and a special guest referee wrestler, and the special guest was probably going, like, was, you know, getting back and forth with both of them, but eventually, like, knocks one of them out or onto the pin or something like that. So, like, there's ways to do shenanigans where it still keeps their heat on all 3 of them, if that makes sense, where, like, all of them kind of have an issue with each other. I feel like, I think for me, the easiest way out is you don't want to go straight to, I don't think you want to go straight to Gunther versus Drew McIntyre. But maybe you do.
No, you set that up for like a bigger, like,
yeah. So I mean, like, if you don't want to go
or something,
I would say if you don't want to go straight to it, then you have CM Punk win, but Seth Rollins is the reason for it, which then has CM Punk have a legitimate complaint against Seth Rollins in the future, but that Drew has a much more actionable, I want to take this out on you, Seth, in the moment, kind of frustration. Because then you can have, because CM Punk you can pair with whoever, right?
Yeah.
You can, any one person can walk out of the back and be like, I don't like you today because you at some point have done this, or you're a hypocrite, or the same story over and over again.
So
I need a river.
So I mean, you see, like, it's eventually setting up to like a big triple threat match at some point, right?
I guess.
I mean, because that's the only way. It's like, you know, okay, so you have Seth Rollins coming in as a special guest referee. I'm going to call it down the middle. Something's going to happen. He's not going to call it down the middle, or he's going to interfere at some point, cost someone the match. There's going to be, you know, repercussions of him costing someone the match, whether it's Drew, whether it's, you know, CM Punk, but it's going to keep setting up, and it's just going to be this ongoing feud. Like,
ooh. You know, on Monday, he gave his list of instructions or whatever, and one thing he made a point to say was disqualifications. There'll be no... well, he goes, well, that'll be referee's discretion.
Yeah.
What if this match goes 10 minutes, and he all of a sudden just double DQs him and walks off? I mean, he's the ref. He's already made up his... like, it's already storyline built in that the only rule is that his word is rule. Like, you have to follow him. And so what if he, like, lets them go at it, screws around with both of them, and then just finally maybe someone gets pushed into him, maybe both of them have gotten into a tussle with them, and he's just like, screw it, I don't want either one of you guys to win. And he double DQs them, or he double counts them out. Maybe they both spill over, and he does like a fast count before they can both get back in. I would not put it past them to have Seth Rollins do a double screw over, because I don't think we've seen a double screw over before.
Yeah.
And then at Survivor Series or Bad Blood, whichever one's next, you have a triple threat match with 3 guys that have to have some kind of resolution to their story because they keep getting into each other's shit.
Yeah. Oh man, that'd be interesting.
Right?
Do a double count out, double disqualification.
I can't think for the life of me any instance where we've had a double DQ finish that has been a special guest referee.
You want it to be a big match because it's SummerSlam.
You want CM Punk to win. You want CM Punk to win because he needs it.
And if this was Money in the Bank and this match was happening, yeah, I could see like a double count out or a double disqualification or, you know, just whatever.
Yeah.
But, like, there's, you know, going to be a conclusive winner, but I think there's going to be some shenanigans in deciding who that, you know, that winner is, you know.
Oh, but man, a part of me just sadomasochistically wants a double DQ finish and Seth Rollins just walk out.
I mean, I'm thinking like at some point, like CM Punk might pull Seth Rollins into a Claymore, right? And then at some point, like Drew McIntyre might pull like Seth Rollins into something, you know. And eventually, like, Seth Rollins will just turn and start beating both of them up, and then do like his curb stomp move on both of them, and then just decide from there. It's like pull one of them on top of the other, 1, 2, 3 count, ring the bell, and just leaves.
Yeah.
God, if that actually happens, I'm playing the freaking lottery.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if you've seen, but the Mega Millions tonight is up to 3. Okay. Well, that's the SummerSlam card. I think me personally, I think CM Punk has to win that match. It would make sense if Drew wins. It would make sense if Seth screws CM Punk because, you want to see that. But I think the bigger long-term picture is CM Punk versus Seth. So I feel like we don't want to start the build of that too early, even though like all of this is laying the groundwork for it. But I don't think you want the intentional.
Do you think
direct
AJ
feud
Lee
happening.
Think AJ Lee comes back?
He apparently has been trying to convince her to come back.
But I mean, you think that like happens to like tomorrow, and something like in their match, like she comes back, low blows Drew McIntyre.
Well, I mean, he is messing with the family. What if Larry the dog
Bites Drew McIntyre? Yeah.
What if Ace Steel shows up and bites? Which I think Ace Steel works for TNA now.
Yeah, I think so too. But like, yeah, but what if like, AJ Lee comes back, like low blows Drew McIntyre, steals the bracelet back or something.
People would lose it.
Oh yeah.
People would lose it.
It'd be huge. Huge.
It'd be huge.
Huge.
So that's SummerSlam. That's our thoughts. You have 8 hours or 5 hours or 3 hours. Who knows how long the show is actually going to be. It's on Peacock. You can watch it whenever you want. So just hop on that cock and watch whenever you need to. I have been Mr. Keck. That has been TJ. And that's been the Brother Taker. Ooh, yeah. Brother.
He's going to tell you right now that you better watch SummerSlam. Oh, yeah, it's going to be amazing.
I'm just gonna zoom in on the Brother Taker when you're saying that. We've been 3 lame guys, even though it's technically 2 lame guys and a cardboard cutout. We'll be back again. Watch. If you like this, like the video, subscribe, join the channel. We'll see you out there. Find our social medias. We're at 3 lame guys on most social medias. If not, look for Rage You Nerds because that's our production. And we're out of here. Goodbye. Bye.